Hey house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother Canada updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Mike Schumacher. Woo! Thanks so much for your support, Mike. You're awesome. And if you guys want to be house guest of the day like Mike, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Alright, so yesterday, Cass was evicted by a vote of 11-0. There was a lot of scrambling last week, but in the end, it was a unanimous vote. Nobody was willing to just like stick their neck out there for her. So then, after Cass was gone, backwards week began! For like 5 minutes, I debated doing the spoiler backwards, but then I was like, that's really dumb and annoying. I'm not doing that. But anyway, I'm pretty excited about this twist. It's really interesting. It's going to be cool to see how it plays out. But basically, it starts off with everyone nominating 2 people, and the 2 people with the most votes are nominated. So it's almost like an international vibe, too, because that's how they do it in other countries. And then they're going to have the power veto competition, and if the POV is used, the House will be voting for a replacement nominee. And it sounds like, yeah, it's going to be like a new vote. It's not just going to be whoever had the next most votes. So then, after that, last, they're going to have the HOH competition. Now, this is where it gets freaking crazy. So, everyone's going to be competing for HOH except for the nominees, excuse me, and the last HOH, meaning Netta. So, they're going to find out right before the competition that whoever wins HOH this week will be casting the sole vote to evict. That's freaking crazy. That's a lot of pressure. Woo! It's really crazy. And it's really cool that they're keeping the house guests in the dark this week, too, on, like, how it's all going to play out, because they're coming up with some wild theories. But some of them are also guessing correctly what's going to happen. Alright, so the feeds came back after the show, and we find out that Dre and Gary were nominated. They had the most votes, and they already picked the players for the power veto competition. So we've got Dre and Gary, of course, and then extra players, Emily, William, Kevin, and Netta. Alright, we'll come back to the POV. So, not long after the feeds came back, Big Brother called for an HOH lockdown. Feeds go off again for a while, and when they come back, we don't know what happened. I think they might have been revealing, like, the breakdown of the votes. I'm not totally sure. But when the feeds came back, have-nots were done for the week. So that means everybody can eat again. I don't know if they're doing have-nots for this week or if they're just going to let that go. I'm not sure. More to come on that. And Big Brother also told them, do not go to bed yet. And we were like, oh, what's going to happen? Everyone in the house was like, what's going to happen? Karen was like, we've been up since 7 a.m. this morning. We're going to have to stay up all night now and then compete? No. So, Big Brother did let them go to bed eventually. I think they were just keeping them up for, like, diary room sessions and stuff, because I don't think they really did anything important after that. Not from what I saw, anyway. So then, Ika, Dre, and William were eating at the table and, like, chatting, and this was, like... let me just tell you what happened. So Dre was like, I just want you to know, like, people like me, Ika, and Gary will always be targets because we're a little bit louder and a little bit different from everyone else. Okay, fine. But then she said, if you're a father with 2 kids and you come in here and you say you love your wife and you're beautiful, you're not going to be a target. If you look a certain way, you have blonde hair and blue eyes, and you say you go to church, you're not going to be a target. Wait, what? Like, Dre, you know why you're on the block, right? It's not because of your race or anything like that. It's because you were freaking shady as hell last week. Are you serious right now? I'm sorry, but... okay, I'm not going to get into it too much because I know it's like a very sensitive issue. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Alright, so Big Brother told the house guests the vote totals, like I said, but they didn't tell them who voted for who. So Kevin, he kind of got caught in a lie here, because after the vote, he told Ika that he voted for Karen, but then they revealed the votes, and Karen didn't have any. So it was pretty obvious that Kevin did not actually vote for Karen. So he apologized to Ika. He's like, I panicked, but I actually voted for Dre and Gary. And Ika's just like, mental note. You lied to me again. You lied to me about this. You lied to me about, you know, voting out Mark. So Yeah. All right. So then Netta, Dylan, Emily, and Jackie were chatting on the couches, and Dylan, he's really nervous because William is competing again in the power veto. We saw how good he was last time. He's like, what if William wins the POV and uses it on Dre? Again, they don't know the rules for this week, how it's all gonna happen. So he's like, I had the next highest number of votes. So he's thinking he could automatically become the replacement if somebody comes off the block. And, you know, if William won and saved Dre, he'd be up against Gary. And then he's like, and then what if Canada is voting to evict this week? And Ned is like, oh no, that wouldn't be fair because Gary already has a fan base. He was already on a season. He was on the sideshow. Really, Netta? He has a fan base? Look who's talking. I don't think Big Brother Canada cares about people's fan bases when it comes to public votes. Alright, so then Dre and Gary had a late night chat, and Gary was like, I'm sorry, Dre, but I'm going ham on this veto. He, you know, was trying to lay low for a while, but now that he's up on the block, he is ready to take this veto. So Dre is just like, you know what? Do what you gotta do. You know, I'm going to be fighting for it too. So then they're also thinking that Dylan might automatically go up if the power veto is used. So they're like, one of us has to win this. We got to do this. And then they're trying to figure out who they can flip from the other side because they're going to need some votes. So Gary's like, maybe Bruno? And Dre's like, no. Why would Bruno vote with us? Like, he's not working by himself. He's not going to flip on Kevin and Netta. I mean, right. It blows my mind sometimes. I always forget, like, they don't see everything that we see, but, like, isn't it kind of obvious that Bruno and Kevin are a pair? Right? I don't know. But Dre is thinking, you know, maybe we could get Emily. I think she's our best bet. But then they're like, oh, if Dylan's the replacement nominee, it's going to be really hard to get Emily to not vote for him to stay. Yeah. Alright, so then last night this was a pretty interesting conversation. Gary confronted Bruno one-on-one about voting for him. Because, yeah, they didn't know who voted for who technically, but it was pretty easy to just kind of figure it out. So Gary's like, why did you vote for me after you said that you weren't coming after me? And Bruno's like, well, did you vote for me? And then Bruno's saying, oh, Cass told me that you, William, and Dre were all coming after me, which is true, that they're coming after him. I don't think Cass ever said anything to him. I mean, she might have, but I didn't see that. I'm pretty sure he was just lying to cover his butt. And Gary's like, oh, and that's how you're going to play it? You're going to give me info on Cass when she's not here to, you know, figure out if it's true or not? So then Gary's saying, like, we talked in confidence, and I said I'm not coming after you, so I don't know why you're trusting Cass over our one-on-one conversation. And then Gary brings up a good point. There's obviously 6 people working together with the same targets. Why else would he and Dre have, like, 6 votes on them? Right? That's a good, you know, Gary's smart. So then Gary tells Bruno that he's the reason that he's up. He was like the deciding vote, because if Bruno voted for somebody else, Gary would only have 5 votes. Maybe he wouldn't be up there. I believe Dylan also had 5, so I'm not sure what they would have done if there was a tie. But Bruno keeps telling him, like, it's not over yet, it's not over. Dre really hurt herself last week with all the campaigning for Cass. I don't know. So this morning, Kevin and Bruno were chatting about that discussion with Gary, also about the vote and the twists in general, and they agree it's nice to have a twist work for them for once. They both went out on some twists in their season, so they're like, wow, this is actually, like, good sometimes. So they're feeling very suspicious of Ika and Dimitri's. That vote to nominate was really revealing. Because Ika and Dimitri's did not vote with the 6. I think they voted for Emily and Dylan. So apparently Dimitri's told them, oh, we did that on purpose because we wanted to throw the others off, you know, so they wouldn't know that we're working together. Which is really, really funny that he would use that reason, because that's what the 6 were planning to tell Dimitri's after he won HOH. Remember, like, when Kevin, Bruno, and Dallas all voted against him, and they were going to tell Dimitri's, like, oh, the guys are with us, they just did that so people wouldn't know we're all working together. Full circle! Alright, but Bruno and Kevin are like, wow, we can see now they're definitely playing both sides, and it looks like they've made their choice. So, Ika and Dimitri's were in a really good spot at the end of last week. Now, not as much. So the tension is definitely back between Ica and Netta as well. It sounds like there were some words exchanged between the two of them while the feeds were down for that vote last night. They're not really talking now, and you know, they're both stubborn as hell. Netta does not think that Ica and Dimitri's are on their side anymore. She said that their vote really told a lot about where they stand. Ugh, awkward. Okay, so anyway, they had the power veto competition today, and the host was Bruno, and the players, like I said earlier, we got Gary, Dre, Emily, William, Kevin, and Netta. The competition was called Highway to Spell, so I guess it was the spelling one. Classic BB, and Netta won with the word underlit. So yeah, that's another competition win for Netta. All you hate is gonna hate. But this week should be interesting. Something tells me she's not gonna use the veto. But we'll see what Gary and Dre do campaign-wise, if they're going to try it with Netta at all. I don't know. Because they're both like, I'm not kissing anybody's ass. So, we'll see. I don't know. Leave it in the comments what you guys think. I'm not even sure what day the ceremony is going to be this week. It's usually on a Monday, but I don't know now. This week is weird. So, until tomorrow, much love.